So I recently made a video about the Kobra S1 from Anycubic, and it had some controversy in the comments. Now, a lot of people were saying that I was wrong for what I said, and a lot of people agreed with what I said. So it's been around 3 weeks since I've had this product. I got it on April the 1st, and as everyone knows from the video, I bought this myself. It was not sponsored, it was not sent out or anything like that, so I can say what the hell I like. Was I wrong? On some aspects, yes. But before we get into that, let's really go into detail about this device itself. So if you didn't know, Anycubic brought out their Kobra S1. It's their enclosed unit similar to the Bamboo PX1, I believe it is, and it's very similar in all aspects. Now, in my previous video, I mentioned about the sound and how loud it was, and that all these YouTubers were lying about them saying it was absolutely quiet, which in a sense, yes, it was a bit harsh of me to say these YouTubers are lying, but then on the other hand, they were saying it was quiet. Yes, I didn't have another 3D printer to go off of the sound comparison, but what I did say is I used to use a vinyl cutter / plotter. Now, I'm not talking about these little tiny pissy vinyl cutters. I'm talking about the full 28-inch vinyl cutters, which do the same motion as a 3D printer out of a case. It's got the X and Y axes, and it goes left, right, up, down, all that in crazy speeds, faster than a 3D printer even, and louder. So I went off of the basis of what I used to use in terms of a piece of technology that had the same axes, same speed ratio, and done roughly the same thing. Instead of just melting plastic, it would cut through with a small blade. So I had some background in noise when it comes to these devices with axes and speed and stuff. Now, a lot of people are saying like, oh, you should have tried the Ender 3 or tried this, tried that. Yes, I get it. A lot of these 3D printer people have other machines that they can go off of and base their sound tests and things off of those. But when it comes down to first time perspective, they could have just said, look, you are going to hear this in the background. It's not going to be quiet. What a lot of people were actually explaining on the videos, I don't know if I mentioned before, but they said the only noise you could hear was the fan from the Ace Pro. That's what I was trying to explain, is the fan from the Ace Pro. I haven't got the Ace Pro, but I have just bought the Ace Pro, and it should be arriving in May the 11th to May the 19th. Like, shipping times are terrible. So I have just bought it because I like the fact it's got the drying element. I like the fact that I can do multicolor prints. I can continue a filament. If one runs out, it continues to the next one. So many aspects about that machine that I definitely wanted to try out. But when it does come down to noise, I wasn't wrong. No, I wasn't wrong. I will stand by what I said. These people over on YouTube have said like, oh, the only fan you can hear is this. But really, no, the machine itself is loud. You can hear it. But I was a bit harsh, and it's not as loud as I roughly like made out. I've used it now for around 3 weeks, like I said, and the sound is just a dull fan noise in the background. It's like if you had a PC from 2002, you know, the noise of that would be roughly the same, if not quieter. Yes, when it does the small increments of movement, it will vibrate the shit out your desk. It will be loud as hell because it is doing really quick, and it's like compared to when it's doing long ones. It's actually really quiet when it does a smooth long transition, so it's going back and forward, really big strokes. It is quiet as hell. I give it that. It is very quiet. So yes, I do in a sense agree with some people saying, you know, compared to this 3D printer, this one on the market that's straight out the box, you can print straight away. You've got no issues with, you know, building. You haven't got to faff around with all these technical issues and things. You can get it out the box and print a perfect print straight away. I agree with that. Yes, this machine for that is fantastic. And I mean, I've printed a crazy amount of stuff, and the second print I ever done was this. This was my second ever print. That, to me, is insane. For someone that's never used a 3D printer in their life, never even contemplated using one or buying one or whatever, to get results like this, and I mean, it's all separate as well. That's all black, then I've got the white parts in there. That is incredible to be able to get that on the first try. The only issue I had was when I went to bed one night, I was scared about leaving it on. I put the AI detection on. Now, there has been an update since this that has fixed a bit of the issues that I mentioned in my previous video about the flow calibration not working. That works perfectly now. The AI camera wasn't exactly the best for picking up the spaghetti detection. That was the only issue I found with this overnight. I went to put it on, woke up in the morning expecting to have a full side of the head. I didn't. I had nothing because it detected spaghetti when there wasn't. So through the whole night, it just didn't print. There's been a couple of times that maybe the print hasn't done perfect because I've changed or tweaked a little setting that I'm trying to learn to think, right, maybe if I did that, it'd give a better overall smoothness or whatever. So I've learned a couple of things about printing inner wall, outer wall, inner walls, and just getting overall speeds to a certain point, or making the supports a bit thinner on top so they're easy to break off. A load of different things that I'm just learning over time. But I will say this, for a first time printer, if you are in the market for getting a printer, I cannot recommend this one enough. Because when people have said, yes, you know, you're slating a product that, one, you got for under £1,000, two, straight out the box, you were able to print directly, done, that's it, your printing's finished, and I'm slating this product for being too loud. I agree with that completely, 100%. I went in. I think it was a point in my mind I was like, you know, I need to tell people exactly what they're going to get out of the box, and there was issues, and it was loud, and it was and yes, I did that. I told people exactly what I thought, and I told them exactly what they were going to get out of the box. It is true, everything I said in that video, it is loud, it vibrates the shit out of my desk, it's all of the things I said, but I think once you've got used to it and used it for about 3 weeks or even 2 weeks, the noise just drowns out. It sort of fades. So we'll be watching TV, and if it's not on, it feels weird because the room's so louder. If that makes sense, like the TV is so loud because that's not on. But when it is on, it's sort of like a noise in the background you just hear. And then you get on with whatever you're doing through the day, or you're watching TV, and you don't really pay attention to that noise. But yeah, when it's off, it's very weird because it sort of finishes the print and you can hear the fans going. But then as soon as the fan cools down and turns off, everything around just goes sort of stagnant. And any noise that you've got other than the printer itself, so like if you've got the TV on, you've obviously turned it up a little bit. As soon as that fan goes off, everything else is just blaring loud because you've tried to drown out the noise, but you've not realized that noise that you're trying to drown out isn't actually that loud. It's just because you're not used to it, if that makes sense. When it comes down to the Anycubic Kobra S1, I can guarantee if you buy this product, you will not be disappointed in any way slightest. It is just a fantastic device. The fact that I could have actually printed this full head in one print is mind-boggling. The fact that I could have really done the whole thing together because of the size of this machine, because of the plate size, the way that I could have multicolour printed if I had the Ace Pro, which now I'm getting, which I will make more content on. It's just great to start into a new journey that a lot of people say like, oh, if you know, there was one comment said something like, I love it when people join this hobby not knowing anything about 3D printers. And it's like, yes, I didn't know anything about 3D printers. I joined this hobby because I saw the ease of use of it now, that I can make anything I want. Like on the pegboard here, I've always wanted something to hold up my battery packs or my chargers, whatever. And now I'm able to print that within, I think they took like 9 minutes each, maybe 11 minutes each, and it's just insane how quick. And then it's things like just organization. Having a Gridfinity in a drawer just compiles everything so neatly, and I wouldn't have been able to do that if it weren't for the 3D printer. Now, I will say, not everything comes out perfect. There is a bit of inconsistency on the back edges here, but again, it's going in a drawer, it's not got to be perfect. It might have even been the filament, to be fair. I think it started to have issues with this one, where the black filament came out absolutely perfect. To have that come out as a perfect print is still mind-blowing to me. There's, like I said, a few slight little imperfections, but for me, it's going in a drawer, simply clicks into the Gridfinity, and you've got yourself beautifully organised drawer, just like that. This little toaster here, look how clean that has come out, right? There's not a single imperfection on that. That is the smoothest looking little toaster, and what that does, hold your SD cards, just like that, and then you've got yourself now a little SD toaster. Like, hello. But I'll put this on as well just to show you. But I mean, how crazy is this? To have a full print like this on your first try is insane. So yes, I do retract some of my comments in the previous video saying, you know, about it having its issues and it just needing being tweaked and it needing this and needing that. I think it is a fantastic printer from the get-go. Anycubic have absolutely nailed this one on the head. The UI is easy to use, super simple. Now the new update as well, you can do a full calibration, and there's just so many more things they've added, which I'm super excited to get more into and just learn a bit more about this 3D printing rabbit hole, if you will. And then once I get the Ace Pro, I'll make another video then of installing it and showing you that. And because I've bought the Ace Pro myself, I will give my true, honest opinions about how it actually works compared to ones that are just sort of been sent it and have to say what they want to say or what the company wants them to say. Then, you know, it's a bit like I want to give my first time experience to the audience so they can understand, as a first time printer, this is what they're going to get. And I get it, all you 3D printers that have been doing this for like 20 odd years, you won't understand it because you're not a first time printer. So if you got this machine, you'd notice every slight difference as compared to your one from 2012 or whatever. For me, this was my first time experience. That's what I wanted to throw over, and a lot of people I helped with buying this machine because I gave my honest review. It wasn't a paid review, it wasn't a sponsored review, it wasn't something that the company said, oh, you need to set that out because it's a bit, demoralizing for our brand, it's making people not really want to buy it. No, I'm telling my honest truth, and if you don't like it, I'm sorry, but that's coming from a first-time person that doesn't know about 3D printing, doesn't know what I'm talking about when it comes to software or slicers or whatever, but I'm learning, like you probably did when you first ever started. Unfortunately, you had to use a machine out of a unit that wasn't enclosed and had all the toxic filters and had all the ease of use of UI screens and all that stuff. You had to learn it yourself, which I admire. You've taken the time to really put more effort into it. But for this kind of machine, this is more for your home everyday use, instead of it being a, you need to know your engineering and your wiring and your soldering and all that stuff. This is for people that want to just get a printer, print some shit, and then leave it to just collect dust. But anyway, I'll leave it at that. If you have any questions in the comments below about this printer, if you're looking to buy one and you want to know a bit more about it, I'll be making more content on this. But if you have a certain video that you'd like me to show or make, please let me know in the comments, because looking at my analytics, a lot of people have been searching up this product for the last month. So I mean, it's getting some traction, and I appreciate everyone on the last video getting it to 3k views. We all know the algorithm's an up and down roller coaster, so I appreciate it, and hopefully I can give you some more value on this product in the future. And even if I just did now and give you a bit more insight to whether you should buy this or not, definitely recommend it if you are looking. But other than that, if you want to leave a like, hit subscribe and hit the notification bell so you don't miss any further uploads. My name's been Callum, hope you enjoyed the video. Capture, create, captivate, and I'll see you all in the next one.